to myself, what a wonderful world.
Happy Celebration Saturday for those of you who are on here. If you're on here, present yourself in the comments. I am the insightful, the incandescent, the incomparable Coach Ivy Allen, and I'm here this morning. Happy sensational Saturday here. Celebration Saturday is usually what I call it. You should drop something in the comments that you're celebrating this week, an accomplishment that you're celebrating, something you want to acknowledge yourself for. Celebration is definitely a part of the feminine. The feminine acknowledges and celebrates the wins. It knows that every little win matters. Every little win keeps us in flow. Every little win moves us forward in life, even if it seems like something that, oh, that's not really a win, you're supposed to do that. But acknowledging that and giving yourself a little yes anchors in those wonderful things as habits in addition to wins. The wins anchor the habits. Like, habits don't sound sexy, but a win is sexy, an achievement is sexy, an accomplishment is sexy, an acknowledgement and appreciation is really where it lies in the feminine. And when you celebrate, you're appreciating, you're acknowledging yourself for actually having moved yourself ahead or done something that was important to you. And it's really, really a great way to sort of anchor in and connect to your femininity. So you guys know this is going to be a super short, quick session because this is my, I'm going to Zumba class after this. Is why I moved the time. You guys know I like to get Zumbalicious. One of my favorite instructors has a 9 a.m. Saturday class, which I both love and hate. Love that it's early, so you get it out of the way. Don't like that it's at 9 a.m. So it's like right in the middle of my morning kind of stuff that's going on. But anyway, we do what we got to do to get where we want to be. Right. All right. So I wanted to jump on here and we're talking about the feminine factors, my feminine factors. These are the factors, the tenets, the pillars, if you will, that I use to flow through beyond my divorce. And it was very fluid. I'm going to tell you, I did not do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. I have more what I call foundational pillars, or they're called fem factors, but they're more like pillars or ideas or methods to which you can flow beyond your divorce using your feminine energetic, being in your feminine, being in your natural style. Hi there. So this one is called Fem Factor Fit. And fit encompasses mental, physical, mental, and emotional. We talked about physical, getting your body moving, getting in touch with your body. I think I even did something on Monday around getting in touch with your body. And then I also did something on Thursday. So this week we're going to be talking about getting in touch with your mental, the mental that you've got going on. And one of the ways you do that is to expand your mind, expand your experiences. The feminine likes to be creative. It likes to expand. And the way in which you do that is you give yourself permission to try something new, to learn something new, to experience new people. So let's kind of break that down into little bite-sized chunks. So one of the things that I realized post-divorce is, and this happens to a lot of couples, it happens to a lot of people, we get into a rut. We get into doing the same thing over and over and over again. We get up, we make the breakfast, we drop the kids, we go to work, we come home, we make the dinner, we do the homework, we go to bed. That's life. And then you rinse and repeat Monday through Friday. And on Saturday, if you've got kids, you know, you're shuffling them around, maybe taking them to events. Maybe you squeeze in a lunch with a girlfriend, or something like that, or you go to your house of worship on Sunday, or if you're Jewish on Friday, or if you're Muslim, I think theirs is Friday afternoon, or however you do it. But you're in a rut. There's no expansion. It's routine. When you get divorced, because your world is topsy-turvy and upside down and things are changing at the speed of light, or even if post-divorce, what happens is you long for that rut again, where you can like kind of get back into that groove and flow. But here's the challenge with that. It's freaking boring and it sucks the life out of you. After you get that routine and you establish it, I cannot tell you how many women are like, I just got to go make the donuts. I got to go. I got to get the kids. I got to do this. I got to do that because it's boring. It's boring. I'm not saying it doesn't need to be done. I'm not saying you should shirk it off and not make lunch for your kids and do the things you're supposed to do and keep your, keep your home, tidied up or, drop your kids or whatever have you. But if you do not create a life for yourself, one where you are expanding and growing, I personally, is my personal opinion, I don't think that's the kind of example you want to set for your children. I want my daughter to constantly be seeking her next level, her best level, her up level. And one of the ways she learns to do that is to watch her mom do that or her dad do that. And so I'm always seeking that. So I want to be an example of that. Number two, this is where a lot of women, you hate your life, because your life isn't filled with anything joyful. The feminine needs to be fed. And the way we do that is we feed it with joy, creativity, play. All that falls in the realm of expansion. If you're not expanding your life, you're either stagnating, which means you're staying status quo, small, or it's status quo, meaning you're just stagnating. There's nothing happening, or you're getting small, you're contracting. Your world is getting smaller. And I can tell you, as someone who has an adult child, for those people who you have young children, I know the runway seems very long, well, I got to take care of these kids. It's a very short runway. It's not as long as you think. Kids are meant to grow up and leave you. If you have not put things in your life that you enjoy, that you love, that fulfill you, that satisfy you, your kids are going to go, you'll either be too clingy to your kids, because a lot of women, when they're divorced, they invest their entire selves into the lives of their children, but the lives of their children are meant to leave. So when their children age, get new friends, start playing sports, get a sense of independence and want to, catch the bus or ride the public transportation or catch an Uber there or get a ride from their friend, and they don't want their mom to drive them or they want to walk, and they're getting a sense of independence. There's this void that we have because we've wrapped our whole life up in our children after our marriage ended. So what I'm encouraging you to do is I want you to take a step back. Look at your life. Are you expanding? Ask yourself this question. Am I expanding? Am I learning something new? Am I meeting new people? Am I going out and trying new things, new foods, new activities? Do I engage with things that I ordinarily wouldn't engage with, that I want to, that I find pleasurable, joyful? Am I filling my life with things that I love, that expand me, that allow me to be creative, that bring me joy? So take a step back and ask yourself that question. If the answer is no, well, then you know where you need to start. If the answer is sort of, sometimes, well, are there places where you can add more of that, right? And if the answer is absolutely yes, that I do, then you're on the right path. Like, you are expanding yourself. Mentally, we need to be stimulated. We need something that is challenging, that is new, that is exciting. The mind needs to be kept busy, or else you're going to keep running the same tapes over and over again. You're going to keep replaying your marriage. You're going to keep replaying what didn't work. You're going to keep replaying all the frustration and fears and the stuckness. If you don't get yourself out and start to expand and create, this is the part that's important. You're creating the life you now want to live for yourself and for your family. The life you had is, as you know it, is complete. It's done. Your marriage is complete. You've divorced. Your marriage is over. You're in a new phase of your life. Now it's time for expansion. Mentally, this is really very healthy, because you want to not play that tape about your marriage over and over and over again. The reason why, and we're going to talk about this next week, is your emotional health. This is all part of the Fem Factor Fit. You can't be emotionally healthy replaying all the stuff that happened in your marriage over and over and over again, talking about it with your friends, talking about it with your coworkers, talking about it with your family, just ruminating, angry, and all of that. You need to get support to kind of dissipate that, but we'll get to that. But mentally, it makes you stagnant, because if you cannot get over the emotional turmoil because you're playing that tape, and you don't have new things in your life to expand, to grow your thinking, to have you see things different, then what you're left with is the pain and trauma of your divorce that you're just reliving. And then you're left with the stagnation in your life that you're just I got to get up and make the donuts. I get up, I take care of the kids, I go to work, I come home, I take care of the kids, and I rinse and repeat, and I get up and do it again, which is not a life worth living. That's just a routine. That's not living life at all. So the best thing that you can do for yourself is to commit to doing something new. Try something new that nourishes you. Now, I'm not saying run out and sign up for a master's degree unless that's really what you want to do. But newness doesn't mean bigness. Like a lot of times we think it has to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be a big thing. If you've never taken a Pilates class and you've always wanted to do that. Start small with what you think will fill and enliven your soul, your spirit, your heart. Start with something you find interesting. It could be a lecture at a museum, something that's going to stimulate your mind, something that your mind has been like, that would be fun. I think that would bring me joy. Something your mind has like been teeing up. You want to give your mind new things so it's expanding. The beauty of expansion in the feminine is it gives you a different perspective, right? You begin to see your divorce differently, right? Like I'm turning my head because that's what happens. You go to a class and you go, I never looked at it from this perspective before. You meet some new girlfriends and they're talking about their own experience, and you go, I never looked at it from this perspective before. But if you stay in your box, you have the exact same point of view that you had when you're married, but you're not anymore. It's time to expand beyond your marriage. You get to create what your life is like after divorce, but it takes as I think it was Einstein that said, the thinking that created your problem is not the thinking that's going to create your situation. Your new situation, it's not going to solve your problem. So the thinking that created your problem is not the thinking that's going to solve your problem. You have to be a quote from one of my favorite quotes, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You must renew your mind, right? Everybody must renew their mind. So you've got it. Einstein said it. Right. For those people who were like, look, I'm just looking for smart people. And then you got a spiritual reference from the Bible. So you got two, you got your spiritual, you got your mind, you got two concrete references. If you are not transforming, renewing, expanding is how I would say it. That's more in the feminine. Then what it is you are stagnating or you're contracting. You're getting small. And the tendency is to want to do that. Trust me, I am an introvert. And I know everybody's going to go, no, you're not. Yeah, I am an introvert. I am energized alone. So I'm a great connector. I like to talk to people one-on-one and I can do groups and all that. But I'm energized being alone. So I can spend long periods of time and be really, truly happy. I can take walks. I go to class. I do a lot of stuff. That was part of my expansion was I got out of my own way and did a lot of stuff alone. What I used to do was do nothing alone, like stay in my house, I'm a homebody, do house projects, do things around the house, cook, clean, organize my cabinets, all that kind of stuff, Susie Homemaker type of stuff. After my divorce, how I expanded was I started to do things in the world that I always wanted to do. And if I couldn't find a bestie, then I did them alone. So my introversion served me at that point. Dinners, I went skydiving, I took classes, I'm trying to think, I got ballroom dancing, salsa lessons. I went to probably, I can't tell you how many different services in the spiritual realm. I went to all of my friends, I have a very diverse group of friends. If they were of a different faith, I went to almost all of their faith ceremonies. I did some traveling. I did just things alone. I mean, for my birthday, one of my favorite things is I like to go someplace to spas alone and enjoy the time and just pour into me and be rubbed on, loved on, eat really good food, take long walks and really restore myself. If I couldn't find anybody to go with me, I just did it alone. Well, as an introvert, that was actually restorative to me. And the other piece of it is when I was going through my divorce, everybody else was married. So they couldn't just take a girls' trip They are in the routine. They are soccer practice, baseball practice. They are going to the games, taking the kids to, and because of my custodial arrangement, I had free time every other week. So a lot of times I couldn't find people to do it, but I didn't let that stop my expansion. I did things alone. I learned to do things alone, and I continually expanded. I met new people. I learned new ways of thinking. This is when I got my coaching certification. This is when I expanded my career. I did a ton of stuff just by myself, and my life began to expand. And as my life expanded, as I got more creative, I began to think of things differently. I began to connect with my daughter's dad very, very differently, because when you're happy, you connect very differently with people than when you're sad and you're replaying the tape of your divorce over and over and over again. If he catches you with a glass of wine and in a moment where you just finished replaying the tape of whatever your last argument was, how he cheated on you, how he didn't have any money, how he had an addiction problem, how he was an abusive, and you're sitting there on a Friday night with a wine and he calls you up, he is going to get it hammered, because that's where you are. But think of this, like, consider the alternative. If he calls you up on a Friday night and you are out with your girlfriends, one, you might not answer the phone, which is great because you're not there to be at his beck and call. Two, you are having such a good time. Whatever he asks, you actually will hear it differently, because he's not calling, right, and having you relive those moments and triggering those moments. He's calling for whatever request or whatever to share with you, tell you something about the kids, tell you something, and you'll just hear it differently. Why? You're different. You're expanded. You're in a joyful, happy, fulfilled, satisfied space. You're not sitting there ruminating about how bored you are, how dissatisfied with your life you are, how all you do is take care of the kids, how you never get a break, how you never get this, all of which is in your control. And I hear you, ladies. I know that there are some women who do not have support from their former partner, who do not have support from their family, who do not have anything. Like I know women that have absconded in the, like left in the middle of the night and packed up their kids and moved to a different state. Like they are in a completely different place when they're going through their divorce. And I say to you, you can create it. You don't create it overnight, but you create it slowly. You get yourself into a community. Maybe it's a support group for divorced women. Maybe it's an online community. You create connections, friendships, and then maybe you and that person switch. You watch her kids, she watch your kids. Maybe you take your kids out together. You two have coffee, the kids play together. It takes time, but you create a way to expand yourself so that you grow. When you grow, right, mentally, right, you expand your life. You expand yourself mentally. You can expand yourself then physically. You can heal yourself emotionally. But if mentally, all you're doing is reliving your past, playing your tape, you don't have a way to expand yourself. You're not growing. You're stagnating. You're not filling your box with joy. You're not filling your box with love. You're not moving forward. You're just staying stuck in the post-divorce. Now, having said that, when we talk next week, I do want to say one thing. Everybody's process is different. It takes as long as it takes. And I don't, like I said, I don't have any, this is a non-linear thing. For some people, I started with Fem Factor Physical because when I got physical, it connected my mental. I started doing new things to expand myself mentally because I was releasing a lot of the emotional trauma. I got a little space. And when I got a little space, I could see things differently and I felt things differently. Some people aren't there. They may start their process with the emotional, getting into the emotional, getting well emotional, getting their healing emotional, then go to physical because it supports that, and then mental because it supports that. There's not a right way to do it. I'm just telling you that these are kind of the core pillars of how I did it and sharing with you a way that it was a process, but it was a process that also connected me to my feminine energy because I didn't let it be linear. I didn't let it be staccato like that. I didn't let that overwhelm. We spend so much time in our masculine energy achieving, driving, doing. You're only as good as your last accomplishment. What have you done for me lately? That when I was healing from my divorce, I gave myself permission to be fluid, to be creative, to evolve naturally, to grow, to love myself, to take care of myself in a way that didn't have start and stop points. Like, sure, I go to a class and it doesn't start and end time, but the care for myself in the feminine is fluid. I got up and I started with washing my face with products that I love. Then I get up and I go to a class that I love to do. Then I come back home, I take a shower. I use one of my shower steamers. If you guys saw that, I'm using body care products that really are rich and lather up. I think I shared with that last week that I love the way they smell. I put lotion and things on my body to nourish my skin. I'm going to make myself a delicious brunch or breakfast, or go to brunch or breakfast with some friends. I'm going to spend some time with some family that loves me and that makes me feel good. I may take a walk with them after dinner and be out in nature when it's really warm weather. Notice the thread about that. It's things I love and enjoy. I'm not filling my life up with things that just feel like a chore. And even the chores, I got to eat. I have to bathe, right? I have to comb my hair, but I'm doing it with products that I love in a way that's nourishing and nurturing. That's what I mean by putting it in on the energetic of the feminine. It's about bringing joy and pleasure and enlivening your everyday life. It's not about, we got to get to the other side. That's what the masculine teaches. I got to get these kids to school. Like, there's no joy in it. But do you sing with your kids on the way to school? Do you put in their favorite soundtrack, or is everybody on their phone not talking because it's the morning? Like, it's not necessarily the task. It's the manner in which you approach the task, you approach your healing, that is creative, loving, joyful, intuitive, fun, pleasurable, that you're infusing into your life. And you've got to infuse that into your mental well-being as well. And the mind wants to expand. It wants to learn. It wants to grow, and it will support you in your healing if you are giving yourself the gift of this expansion. All right, so that's all I got for you today. I am headed off to my Zumba class. I've got my little green drink here. You guys can see this. This is lemon, parsley, ginger water. This is fantastic for hydration. It supports weight loss. It supports digestion. The parsley is loaded with antioxidants. It's really good for lowering blood pressure. All of the lemon and the parsley is great for your skin. Again, doing things that are good for me, that I love. And actually, this is a little warm. You can heat it up. You can drink it cold or hot. I like it like a little warm, like lukewarm. This is really nice. You can put it in a cup and have it. It smells really good. Super great for your body. So it's not necessarily like rushing off to do the next thing. It's moving on gracefully to the next thing in a way that is supportive and loving for you. So, and this is a practice for me too. I got to tell you, I'm a rush person. If I can in this month be in the practice of just slowing down, like, I do all the things, but I often don't savor all the things and let the things satiate me and fill me up. And the other thing I notice, I'll share with you guys too, when you're not satisfied with your life, you begin to seek satisfaction in other things that may or may not be good for you. Food, substances, Netflix, anything else that numbs out. And it's because if you go to if you get a massage, or you go to a Zumba class, or you have time with your family and you don't take it in, this is the feminine, that fluid, like you receive, the feminine receives. If you expand your mind and you sign up for a class and you don't let yourself be present in the class, take in the instruction, take in what's happening with your partner in the class, learning the materials, reading the books, doing the exercises. When you leave, you're going to feel like that was a waste of time and it was very unfulfilling. Why? You're on your phone half the time. You were texting half the time. You were checking on the kids half the time. You didn't put yourself in the experience to allow yourself to receive and be filled up. So as you are expanding and you're choosing these new things to do, you're choosing to feed yourself new experiences, to allow yourself to get creative with the chores you do so you can bring pleasure to them, put on some music, dance, make it playful. You know, the dishes don't have to be boring. They can be exciting. As you're allowing yourself to expand, get creative, you're doing things that fill you up, giving yourself joy, allowing it to be pleasurable. I want you to also pause and allow yourself to be present so you can be filled up. There's no sense in doing a new thing and going out with girlfriends, if you can't get off your phone, or you're constantly checking on your kids, or you're constantly worried about your kids, or you cut them, like if you're not going to be there to take it in, then it doesn't serve you, right? You're going to go and you're going to leave feeling empty, right? Or not filled up. You should feel really good, delicious when you leave it, right? And the other thing you should feel is like a sense of satisfaction. And if it was really good, you might say, and I want more of that in my life. That was excellent. That was right on that. Anybody ever had a meal that was so satiating? And like literally you put your fork down, you like close your eyes and you have to sit back for a moment to take in how good it was. And you just sit there and you feel the satiation in your body. That's how you want to take in these new experiences. That's how the feminine expands the mind. It takes in these new things and it really takes it in. It allows it to satiate, to satisfy. You feel the deliciousness of it. You allow it to be pleasurable, joyful, so you feel filled up. The feminine receives. If you don't feel like you received anything in the experience, check yourself, because you may not have allowed yourself to be present enough in the experience to actually receive and enjoy it. And that's how we do Fem Factor Fit on the mental side. All right, so I am off to my class. I will be back next week at 8 a.m. going live. We're going to be talking about the last feminine factor on the fit scale, and that's about emotional well-being, how to basically get your happy back, get back into the happiness. I look forward to seeing you there. Check us out on Monday. We're going to be doing intuition and insights on Monday, 2-minute tips on how to step that up. This Tuesday, I believe I'm doing a live inside the group. You would have to register for that. We'll have posts about that class. We're going to be talking about setting boundaries, I think. It would be nice if I had the calendar here, which I can't because I can't remember all this stuff, you guys. But it's in the group. If you have not signed up for the group, join the group. It'll be Tuesday at 8 p.m. Inside the group, it's going to be a Zoom live. You get to get on, you get to come on with me, ask your questions, and it's really going to be a great time. You can bring your adult beverage if you're a wine. Bring your wine at night. It'll be 8 o'clock, so you're good to go. So that'll be fun. I will see you around the superhighway of life. All righty. Have a sensational Saturday. Drop something you're celebrating today on the page. Just drop it on the page. I'll put a post up there, and celebrate yourself. Acknowledge yourself. Appreciate yourself. Drop something you appreciate about yourself and go and do something joyful, pleasurable, fun today. All right. I will see you around the superhighway. Have a great day. Ciao.
I think to myself, what a wonderful world.